Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be tackling the rear wiper and finding out why it doesn't work. I've already done a little bit of investigating, but I'll show you what I've found. And when I say rear wiper, I'm regarding the Fiat Punto. So let's get started and show you what I've found. So if I start by putting the ignition on first, we don't need to start the engine, but the ignition's on. You'll then notice that if I do that, the front one goes, not a problem. If I then do the rear one, we actually get nothing from the back window. So if we pop the boot release, and I have already looked at some fuses and tried to work out what fuse it might be, but the other day I went in the boot and found this to be a problem. So it's not working, not a problem. If I open the boot, just to prove me wrong, it's deciding it's not going to work. Let's see if we can get it to move. Basically, my tests were, while I wiggle that, it would occasionally move. So that has come down to being a broken wire around about in there somewhere. So that was my diagnostics of diagnosis. There we are. And it's now stopped. If I press the wire again, if I hold it in that position, it might work again in a second. So everything seems to be working, providing I hold that wire in that sort of position. So let's get this pulled apart and see which wire we've got that's gone dodgy there. So guys, a few days has passed since the last clip, and you'll see that the wiper is still in its same place, but that's because I had to go out and do work, so I had to stop the process, and it decided to randomly, while I was driving around, stop halfway up the window like so, and that annoyed me. So I decided I was going to take this cover off, get it in the position where I needed it to be, and disconnect the power lead there. So how you get this cover off, literally just through, that goes up like so, and it's all clipped into place with the exception of that handle there. That handle, if you look into the handle, there's got a hole there which has a crosshead screw in it, and that crosshead screw goes into this point just here. So I decided to do that, wiggle the wire until I needed to get it where it was in its resting place, and then just disconnect the connector here for the wiper motor. But as you would have seen already, it is working fine. So now what my plan is, we can do two options. We can either hack it and cut through there, which I won't be happy about because I want to try and keep that intact, or we can do the other option, which I'm going to do is I'm literally going to carefully unpick all these wires, pull everything off, that one, pull that one off, which is that's then the heated window removed. I'm then going to undo all these little push clips, probably with some pliers or something. Oh no, that one's done. That will then allow me to unstitch all the wiring, including the wiring for the boot release, unstitch all the wiring from here, and then just feed it back down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around undoing all these push clips like so. There's a wire just inside there which is awkward to get to, but for the boot catch itself. And I've also noticed that, move that out of the way, my boot badge, well actually I'll show you, it's all loose. So just by squeezing that, he says, just by squeezing that I can take my badge off, because there's no nuts on there. So I suppose I'll take that into the shed and find a couple of nuts to put on there, and then I can do that back up. But that wasn't me, but yeah. Anyway, so we'll get a couple of nuts for that. We'll get this wiring, oh my finger was over the camera, we'll get this wiring all unconnected and pulled out so it's all loose down in this corner. That's going to be tricky as anything, I guarantee it. And then I'll bring you back and we'll start looking at what's actually going on. So in the process of pulling the wiring out, I've got it all loose here, but I failed to realise So I got it all loose here, but I failed to realise that actually I've got a third brake light that I needed to remove. So basically you've got these two rubber grommets, and pull them off. You then get a flathead screwdriver in just in the top here, and in the top on this one. You'll be able to then push the clips back, and I'll close the boot a second. I'll show you what I mean, because I've already removed it and just rested it there. You've basically got to pull it with the clips at the bottom out and like that, because you've got to squeeze these clips in through those holes. This one squeezes down, this one squeezes down, and then that will allow it to release this bottom from the bottom of here through those holes there like I showed you, and then that will then push the bottom out. What you've then got to do is you've got to try and go around the edge, because it might be a bit stuck, with a screwdriver, and just push down on it like so to release these little clips. There, 2, 3, 4. I've actually broken one of the clips by the looks of it there, but they actually clip into that bit, and then you've then got the pipe that connects there and the electrical plug that connects there. That can then come out, and then what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to actually get the wiring and the pipes to work out of there now, because it was only when I realised pulling these out here that actually there's this one here as well that I've got to worry about. So back to the drawing board with this stuff's awfully sticky and horrible as well, so I'm getting all really sticky and gunky just because of the thingy on there. So back to the plan of what I started at first: pull these out, get this moved up and get it all bed, and then I can show you what's what. Just a heads up guys, I found 2 locking nuts for the boot badge, so that's all nice and secure. I have thought of something. If this motor was to have ever failed, I don't have a clue how I would get it out without drilling it out and putting a new motor on, because there's no physical way of unbolting it. That's just like pop rivets there. As you can see, I haven't pulled the wiring fully out because that was quite awkward to get down there, but I have pulled the wire completely out for the dangling down there, that white one. I've pulled the wire out completely for the rear brake light. I've pulled some of this, unwound some of this. I've also removed the rear light just for a bit of extra space. That literally just unplugs there, but before you do that you've just got 2 crosshead screws there to do, and it'll pull straight off. And as you can see, I haven't damaged this in any way. I've just slid it down by allowing it space to move, and we've come across, I don't know, but I'm surprised anything worked at the back here, to be honest. 2 wires there, that's broken, that's the other end of those 2 wires. We've also got this brown one that's ready to fall apart. It's still barely connecting, but it's all on show and thingy. And then we've then got this little black one here, which I don't know if you can see, but this little black one has started having the covers come off, so that one will be alright. I'll just put a bit of tape around that. And I would strongly suggest stripping these back a bit, soldering them back together, and then heat shrinking them. I physically can't find my soldering iron, and I kind of need this car again in the next couple of hours, so I need to get this job done rather sharpish. So don't do as I do, do as I say. I'd suggest soldering them, because it's a much stronger fix, and then heat shrinking and taping it all back up. What I am going to use is this, but these are likely to fail again, so in the next couple of weeks off camera I will take it all apart and put a bit of extra wire in and redo it. But for now, well, I'm going to have to buy a new soldering iron basically. My one, if I find it, is naff anyway, so I'm literally going to redo this job in a couple of weeks time and actually solder it, so it only has to actually last me about a month at most. So I wouldn't advise using these clips. I'd always advise soldering it, but I've got to work with what I've got for now. So I'm going to put these clips in. I'm still going to heat shrink it and tape it just to make us connections as strong as I possibly can, and then somehow get this back over it and put it all back together. So I'll bring you back in a bit guys. So I just brought you in now as an update. The light's back in because I've finished. I didn't need to take the light out anyway, I just wanted a bit more space, because look, that's where it goes right there. This is all put back together. In the end I did end up soldering it and heat shrinking it, because I borrowed a mate's soldering iron up. Yeah, basically we've got all the wires put back, all clipped in place. We've got it clipped down here, up here with the boot release. You can't see up there, but it's clipped into there, and it's clipped into there as well. If for any reason as well this has got an electric boot release, there's no way of physically opening this boot because there's no button of any kind unless you press the button in the front there in the dash, or you press the button on the bottom of the key just there, and you'll hear that it's just unlocked like so. However, if I push that to lock somehow, so if I push that to lock like so, if for any reason I need to get into the boot and I got no power to the boot lock, there's a nifty little clip here which you can just get at, and that'll open it. And just to prove my point, I'll show you. So if I shut the boot, and if I go inside the car here, and then down here you'll see just there is the clip. If you push it that way, he says, okay, just like so. So if you then need to get in the boot for any reason, you can. So I have now clipped that back into place. It literally just bash it into place everywhere across the thing, and then you then put the screw in just up there in the handle. What we've got left to do now, because we've pretty much done, we've got a couple of things left to do, we've got to put this light on. I use this random bit of wire here just to help me put it through. So I've got to untape that, and then I can plug the light in, and then that will clip into there. So where it now comes to putting this third brake light in, common sense would say, well, while it's out, why not let's check its all its bulbs are working. However, I have already looked, and I don't know if they're working or not, so we will find out. We'll find out together at the same time. I haven't got any bulbs, so if they are failing, I'll have to replace them at some other time, but I'll show you how to do it. Let's just get this out on top of the car. Put that down. So we've got the wires there loosely, and that's the washer jet nozzle there, that one. So if we just use the wiper motor to kind of rest on here, you've got a little tab just there. If we push that back, we should then be able to lift that off. It says. One second, bear with me, guys. So the way this works is you've got a tab that you push that way, and then that will then allow you to pull this bit off, and you've got a tab that you push this way, so you'd push that tab that way and then lift that off like so, exposing the bulbs. You'd then push that tab that way and lift it off, exposing the bulbs. And then we've got all these little push fit bulbs. I'm not entirely sure what they are called, but I'll just Google it later and find out. But I'm sure someone will be able to give me a comment if need be. So, and then what I'm literally going to do is I'm going to connect it to its plug there, just like so. And what we'll be able to do, we should be able to see even in the daylight where it's going to put the brake pedal on. So I'm going to do a crafty as I'm on my own. I have a bit of wood there, put the ignition on. That will now give me brake lights. As you can see, that one's lit up. That one's lit up. And actually, you know what? I don't need to buy any bulbs because, as you can see, they are all actually functioning nicely. But just to show you what I mean, these little bulbs actually do just, wow, they get hot. They do just put out like that. Where is it? They do just put out just like that, and they're like that. So this one has, you can see it's darkened where it's got black on the tin, but I'm not bothered because all except the end one now is illuminated, but the end one there is in my hand. So I'll pop that back in because they all work, and clip it back together, and we'll just put it in there. So now what you got to do is you got to make sure the water hose for the windscreen washer jet is on, and I've still got the brake lights on at the moment, as you can probably tell, but it's fine. And then we literally just push it in to its location. Top goes in first, and then we'll just be able to push at the bottom, and that is clipped in as best as that's going to go. Done. The final thing to do now is just to push. These are the metal clips I was on about. Look, you can see them just through there. Literally you push down on it and push forward, and that'll come off, and you'll just get these bungs. And pop them back in. Right, so now we need to see if the wiper works. So we'll pop that on, and yeah, it works lovely. Doesn't make no difference as to where the boot is, but still going to carry on working absolutely fine. I'm going to call that job done, I think. So guys, thank you for watching another one of my videos, and I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that was informative enough, and it was a little bit slapdash because I was holding the camera rather than putting it on a tripod, but I just don't, yeah, I've done the best I could, I think, without today, to be honest. But anyway, take care guys, stay safe. Just before I go though, I'll put another one of my videos up in this top corner. My subscribe icon will be in this bottom corner. If you go to my YouTube channel page, you can follow me on Instagram. You get to know about what I'm getting up to outside of YouTube, and you'll get to know YouTube stuff prior to it coming to YouTube. But yeah, that's all for now guys. Bye for now.